Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet. Welcome back, Thunder Cat. We got another episode of Grow coming to you right now, guys. Happy Friday. This is your daily checkup from the neck up. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Coach Kyle Evans coming to you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, ready to spend some time with you, making sure that we have a great foundation for what today could look like should we choose. Now, this week, we've been talking specifically about how to sell like a scientist. And I know it sounds counterintuitive. Like, hey, man, that's not what I would ever calculate or project or make an analogy between a scientist and a salesman. And yet here we are. You know, we've talked about why people actually buy this week. We've talked about the words and how we should show up to make that happen. Guys, today we're going to talk a little deeper. We're going to talk about testing, tracking, and tweaking. You see, when we test, when we track our results, and then we tweak or we improve upon, we refine, that's how we get the results that we're looking for. I trust if you've made it this far, you've probably already realized that sales isn't magic. Some of you are like, I wish I had a little more magic. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's not charm. It's a lab. It's a lab. Every conversation, every objection, every win, every whiff, it's data. Most salespeople, though, unfortunately, they're still operating like it's 1997, right? We're repeating what worked once, and then we're praying that it works again. Please work again today, though. Today, we fix that. Today, we're going to talk about, Kyle, how can we test? How can we track? How can we tweak so we can stop closing with luck and start closing with actual evidence, actual data? When we dive into this, when we peel back the onion, we look at the first layer here of why most salespeople plateau. I got news for you. If you're not measuring what works, you're just guessing with false confidence. Let me say that again. If you are not measuring what works, you're just guessing with false confidence. Here's what happens to 90% of salespeople. They try something, it hits, so they double down on it. But when it stops working, if we're just being honest, you, me, and the fence post here, when it stops working, we panic. You see, salespeople, they start chasing shiny scripts. They start chasing YouTube tactics. They start looking for all of these things instead of paying attention to their own data. Instead of looking into the accountability mirror and saying, what worked? What didn't? What can I control here? They plateau not because they aren't talented. They plateau because they're not testing, because they're not tracking, because they're not tweaking. Sales science, it demands, it requires iteration. Your tone, your word choice, your timing, all of those things can be tweaked, can be changed, can be improved. If we treat our process like a prototype, not a finished product, we will continue to level up. You see, unfortunately, like I said before, people get something, it works so, it works okay, they double down on it, they stick with that, and they stop improving. They stop working on it. They stop looking to grow 1% better in it each day, a Kaizen lifestyle. Instead of thinking I'm a closer, maybe you should be thinking I'm an optimizer. I have a standard operating procedure. Great. Am I doing the best that I can do, or am I doing the best that it can be done? That's where the tweaking comes in. Are you growing stagnant? Are you looking to improve? Like a scientist, how can we optimize this process? When you get that mindset, when you take that framework into your brain of I'm looking to optimize, always optimize. Do not change everything at once. Do not change everything at once. Change one variable at a time. If you change everything at once, it's impossible to tell which thing was the thing that led to the result that you were looking for. Change one variable at a time. Test it, tweak it, track it. So if we're talking about this and we're picking one variable at a time, here's some things that you can think about that you can start to tweak, start to pay attention to, start to segment off and test and experiment with. Your conversation intro. A lot of times we bypass that. We skip it. We think that, whatever, it's just an intro. Wrong, baby. That's how we're setting the foundation, the mood, the energy, the expectation of the conversation. What does your script intro, your conversation sound like? Another piece that you can look at, a variable you can pay attention to, is the way and the process in which you present price or the value of your service, the cost of your service. Another idea on something that you can pick out and test different iterations of is your closing pitch, your closing phrasing, your closing conversation. How is it going? What are you saying? How are you presenting? What is your tonality? Are you using the right words? Are you showing enough value before you make the ask? Pay attention to that. Don't change everything at once. Pick one of these things to focus on and tweak. Finally, one that I think everyone should be paying attention to always and forever is, what does your follow-up look like? Are you running A/B testing on your follow-up? Is one working better than the other? Can you lean into that one? Then again, make it better. Run this consistently for 10 reps or so. Don't change halfway through. You have to get enough data set to show what's working and what's not. Don't do it once and be like, well, that didn't work. Wrong. Do at least 10 reps of this. Track the data. A mistake that a lot of people make is they change mid-pattern because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like me. We're not testing feelings. We're testing results. Facts over feelings, as the young kids say. If we're moving from testing to tracking, use a simple spreadsheet. Use your CRM notes. Use a journal. Use a yellow pad of paper. You guys know what I'm talking about. The things that you can be tracking on there is your close rate. Another thing you could be tracking, and we don't do this enough, is what is your objection frequency? Am I always getting an objection here? Is it always the same objection? Is there a pattern? What is the frequency of the objections that you are getting in your sales cycle? An easy trackable thing is your engagement level. What is that looking like? One that I love to track that I think that a lot of people do not is, what is the time to decision? Even basic tracking will tell you a massive story over time. Gary Keller, the founder of Keller Williams, talks about this. The path is in the math. What we measure moves, but if we're not tracking, we can't see the math. When you get that data, it's time for the final phase. It's the tweaking. If it's working, let's optimize it. If it's flat, let's adjust something. If it's working, let's optimize it. If it's flat, let's adjust something. When you pitch the price at the end for 10 calls and 6 people say it's too expensive, cool. We have that 10 call data set. We have the results. Now flip the order. What happens if you anchor the value before you pitch the price next time? Does the close rate go up? Does it go down? Now it's not a gut feeling anymore. It's a data-driven improvement. Hey, A/B testing. I ran it this way, this pattern, this way. This was the results. Now I flipped it and I ran it this way and this was the results. And I did at least 10 to 20 each time. I have data to pull on. It's not a feeling. Your feelings will betray you. They come and they go. Data is there. The numbers don't lie. But I need you guys to slow down to speed up. I need you to slow down to be able to chase mastery. When we're looking at this data, I want you to start paying attention to the math and the micrometrics inside of it, because we can't fix what we won't measure. When we're talking about numbers, I'm not talking about just tracking numbers to impress people or your team or your brokerage. I'm talking about tracking to improve your tactics. I want you to go to a master instead of a novice. If you're thinking about what to track, some ideas, some simple ones. Here's just three, because I don't want to give you too much too fast. Three easy ones to start looking at. What is your conversation to appointment ratio? How many conversations equal one real next step? It's going to tell you how strong your hook and your rapport game is. If you have a very high conversation to appointment rate, it shows that you're building rapport fast. It shows that you are building a curiosity gap, a hook, and you're leading to the next step well. We don't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. We go down to another thing to track: appointments to closings, contracts, conversions, whatever you call it in your world. First, we're tracking the conversations to the appointment. The next thing is appointments to contract. How often do you convert meetings into signed agreements? How often? Is it 20%, 50%, 75%? Do you even know? I had the opportunity to talk to a great team in Houston yesterday, and they led off the call with their appointment to contract ratio. My heart swelled 10 sizes. I got man misty. I was super excited, and it shows why they're so successful, because they're paying attention to their craft. Shout out HPT. Good job. Guys, this shows how well you present your value and build trust. Conversation to appointment, appointment to contract. And finally, what I brought up earlier that I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to is the time to decide. What is the time to decide? How long does it take your client to move into agreement with you? I don't necessarily, if you're in real estate, I'm not talking about how long it takes them to list their home, because some of that, a lot of that might be outside of your control, but how long until the agreement to work with you? Are you clear, or are you confusing them into indecision? How would you know if you don't track? If you improve each of these segments, conversation to appointment, appointment to contract, time to decide, by just 10% each, your income's not just going to grow, it's going to multiply. But are you willing to pay attention? The agent who's out there making six figures, who's not tracking anything, that's talent on a timer. If the market shifts, they sink. But the one who tracks, the one who pays attention, the one who tweaks, they adapt faster and they outlast everyone. Gary Keller talked about this the other day. Can we build businesses on intentionality and not personality? Because that will only take us so far. Said another way, we talk about it in the 6 personal perspectives. Are you operating entrepreneurial, what comes natural to you? Or are you operating purposefully with what doesn't come natural to you? The choice is yours. Okay, rant over. Stepping off my soapbox. Let's talk about A/B testing in real life. Run your process like a landing page and A/B test everything. That means 1 or 2, A or B. Here are 4 areas to start running live A/B testing, okay? Number 1 is your intro openers. Run simple tests. It's so simple, like this. Run 10 conversations this way. Hey, this is Kyle. I saw your home search come through. Blah, blah, blah. This is your opener. Hey, this is Kyle. I saw your home search come through. Or maybe you can try this. Hey, quick question. Have you been actively looking, or was that just curiosity? Hey, quick question. Have you been actively looking, or was that just curiosity? Something to consider as we move forward. Now you can look at the data. Hey, I did it this way and it did not work. Hey, I did it this way and it did not work. Another thing to start A B testing immediately is your pricing delivery. And we spent some time on this yesterday on a different call with that team. What does your pricing delivery look like? Are you running a test on it? Saving price reveal for the end? Or are you starting confidently and upfront and anchoring with comps? Figure that out. Run it a few times. Track the data. What was the objection like? What did the mood shift? What was the closing rate? Another one, how are you handling objections or resistance when it comes up? Are you doing question led objection handling, helping them self discover through questions? Or could you run story based, where you're using testimonials or third party success stories? See which one works more effectively for you, your style, and your presentation. But you got to run the reps and track the results. The final one to consider running A B testing on inside of your world, your follow up messaging. It might be a straightforward reminder, just following up, if that's your thing. It might be a curiosity hook. Hey, thought of you today, had something cross my desk. I think you'd want to see it. Which one are you? Have you even run them to find out? Document what wins, and then I want you to scale what converts. When you figure out what converts, now we move into optimization. That's how the pros work. After you take all this data, after you take the results, after you take the feedback, I want you to build your own playbook, not someone else's, not somebody that you're not. I want you to build your playbook, because know this, every scientist eventually writes their own formula. Stop relying on these generic conversation models and scripts and used car salesman tactics, but start building your own field tested playbook that resonates with who you are, what you believe in, and what you stand for. 3 things to include in this playbook. Super simple. What are your go to power phrases? What is the most consistent converters that you use? Another thing to consider entering into this playbook is your objection reframes. How did you prove your responses to each category of fear when it shows up? How did you go deeper? How did you overcome it? How did you give them data? How did you give them information, clarity, certainty, confidence? Track it, write it down, make a playbook. And finally, your closing, your sequences. Some of you guys can't close the door. What order of communication leads to the most yeses for you and your organization? This becomes your conversion operating system. We're not guessing anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We're deploying. It's simple, but it's not easy. Therefore, most people won't slow down and do it. I trust that because you're here, you are open to optimization. This is where it begins. You see a lot of people miss opportunity because it's dressed up in overalls and looks like hard work. But this is where it all comes together. If your sales process can't be tracked, it can't be trusted. Mic drop. If your sales process can't be tracked, it cannot be trusted. It cannot be scaled. It cannot be replicated. You will always fall to the distance that only you can reach. Gary talks about no one succeeds alone. If you want to succeed, it's time to put the process together. It's time to build the conversion operating system. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is pick one part of your process to experiment with. Pick one piece of one of these things you heard, then run a 10 call test, a 10 conversation test. Track the outcome, and then tweak accordingly. And guess what we get to do next? Repeat. Do it again. Because we're into optimization. My goal, my dream, my desire for you guys is to take this, lean into this, and build your life by design. Build a great business for you, for your family, for the people that matter to you. I desire you to remember that sales mastery is scientific. The lab is the conversation, the data is the results. You don't need more YouTube tactics. You don't need more sales scripts. You need a repeatable playbook built from your results. Hope is not a strategy, data is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Grow Show, and I'm Coach Kyle Evans coming to you on this Friday. Point of note, I will be on vacation with the fam next week. So we will not have a Grow Show next week in the morning. If this is a part of your routine and you got to have it, love that for you. So to stay on routine, feel free to go to our YouTube channel. The lives live there forever, I would imagine. Click one, dive in, keep your routine going. And I cannot wait to get back with you a week from Monday. Yeah, math, it's early. You'll figure it out. Next week, I won't be here, but thank you for being here today, guys. If you liked it, let me know. If there's anything I can do to help you, as always, please reach out and keep grinding, keep growing, and I'll see you soon.